Hello and welcome to another episode. It's a little foggy out today, but the weather's supposed to get better. Joining me today is Richard from Freedom Recovery Gear. We're just stopping at Lordco to pick up a few things, and then we'll be on our way. Well, with the weather, what a difference a few minutes make. We're literally 20 minutes down the road and the sun is out. Looking like a great day. As we head east over the Monashees on Highway 6, we start to see some snow at the side of the road. That is slightly ominous. Let's hope it doesn't get too bad. Highway 6 runs from Vernon all the way through to Nakusp and then further on down to Nelson and beyond. As I've been chatting to Richard over the radio on the way up, I've been talking to him about a rest stop at the top of the Monashees. We're going to stop in there and just take a look at the lake. It's a really beautiful lake. But we weren't expecting what was to come next. Pulling into the rest stop, this happened. That's right, they'd closed the rest stop. We were both bemused at this, but decided to take a walk to the lake anyway. As we drew closer to Needles and the ferry across to Fokea, Richard and I started to discuss the wildfires that had gone through this area this summer. The area on the other side of Arrow Lake was really hit hard this summer. As you would have seen in earlier episodes, we use the Needles ferry quite often. It runs across Lower Arrow Lake, about 59 kilometres south of Nakusp. Its capacity is 40 vehicles and 135 passengers. It's just a short trip. Just takes 5 minutes to go from Needles to Fokea.
On your wildest moments, colored trees, your yellow leaves move me.
As we embarked, we got a phone call from our other compatriot for this trip, Tyler. He was running a little late, but would meet us on the Fokea side of Arrow Lake.
When I get there, I'll break in your arms, I'll lose control. When I get there, I'll know the answer. Let me know when I get close.
Here we're looking north up Lower Arrow Lake, up towards Nakusp.
Right out of this wicked black and into bright sand, straight toward the warm sun and into his hands. When I get there,
Now joined by Tyler, we head up Apple Grove Road.
Here
now we've just entered the power line track. We got Richard and Tyler with us. We're just airing down. We're using one of Richard's Freedom Recovery Gear's air tyre deflators. So we'll give you an introductory video to that later on. But we're aired down to 25 PSI all around. And it looks a lovely day here. What it's going to be like up the hill, as you can see behind me. There's snow on the hill, so we might make it across or we might not make it. So we'll just do our best.
his hands.
underway, we start to see some of the devastation the forest fires this season caused. There'll be lots more of this as we climb up the hill.
So the hat's how old, Richard?
The hat was bought probably about 31 years ago.
31 years and you've got the same hat.
Yeah, it's an actual honest to goodness Tilly hat. And it's been on every major adventure with me as an adult. I bought it on a trip when I went down to Central America, Honduras and El Salvador for 3 weeks when I was about 23 years old. So it's about 31 years old.
When I get there, I'll know the answer. Let me know when I get closer. When I get closer, will I get closer? Will I get closer?
As you can see from the trees here, the fire had really come through this with some force.
So fresh, so new. Freedom! It's all for you. All for you. Freedom! Keep your ear to the ground. Freedom!
As we pull away from this small stop, I think Tyler's forgotten something. Do you think he might need that? Yeah, it's his cell phone. So this is where the fun really starts. We're turning off the Forest Service Road now onto the actual power line track. The gradient gets a lot steeper here and the snow gets deeper and deeper. Rich is in the lead now, breaking trail. He should be. He's on 37-inch tyres and a brand new JL. As you can see, the trees are getting closer and closer. You can't come and do this sort of thing if you're scared of scratching your vehicle. We're definitely in for some trail pinstriping here. There is no getting around it.
Lost track of the forest through the trees, forgot what I was chasing. Spent so many nights living out at sea that my heart is gone vacant. And everybody who was close to me all stayed on dry land. So now I'm driving back on Interstate West, I just gotta feel something. Not gonna wait till the morning, because something's gonna change my mind. I don't wanna change my mind. Oh, I wanna stay right here, chilling with my friends for another year. I would walk away from the spotlight for the good life. Oh, come on, turn your hate into poetry, pain into power, enemies to friends, and your minutes into hours. I would walk away from the spotlight for the good life, for the good life.
Sometimes in these expeditions, you do find that you've stopped in just the wrong place. This was one of those times. I just couldn't get going again, even with the diff locks on. As you all know, the camera does not do it justice. It's a lot steeper than it looks out there. It's time for a little bit of skinny pedal. Let's get some momentum and get up this hill. As slow as possible, as fast as necessary.
So we're currently coming to the summit of 2,000 metres on the Power Live track. As you can see behind me, it's a glorious day. We have run into some snow and it is slowing us down. If I spin you around, I won't do it too fast. You might be able to see Tyler in the background. He's airing down a bit more, going down to probably 12 psi. This should be all the snow we can encounter as we're coming to the top, but you never know. So I'm using my Freedom Recovery Gear air down tool, and let's drop some air out the tyres and see if we can get past.
As you can see, this isn't working. I've got locker on front and rear, and all it's doing is spinning. You can probably hear it from the engine. It's another one of those times where a bit of momentum is going to help. Give it some revs and let's get up this hill. After we set off from this stop, after discussing tactics, we did not know what was around the next corner. It gave Richard a great opportunity.
So Tyler, what happened?
Well, just didn't get enough speed coming up, you know.
Sometimes speed is your friend. So, tell us what happened properly.
Well, hill just got a little long. We didn't get enough speed going up, so my right end ended up spinning out on the backside. And just to play it safe, I wanted to just call the other guys and just get a little tug out, as opposed to trying to steer out, because it probably would be a little too close to the edge. So, just safety first. But free recovery, you know, and yeah.
Can I translate that for you?
Yes, please.
JK on 34.5-inch tires, all-terrains, trying to follow a JL on 37-inch mud terrains in snow up a slope. One had a better chance than the other, but we're having fun, and that's what matters.
We certainly are having fun.
So Tyler got as far as he could, and he actually stopped in a really good spot where I was able to turn around, so I came back down the hill, turned around, and now we're going to do a vehicle-to-vehicle recovery. Richard here from Freedom Recovery Gear. We're going to do a vehicle-to-vehicle recovery from the JK to the JL. We've got our 7/8 tugger rope here, made in Canada, 7/8 capacity with a 26,000 minimum braking strength. So always make sure you've got a label in your gear and you know what it brakes at, so that you know what you can do responsibly with it. So recovery ropes, we typically use a 3-to-1 safety factor. So this rope is good up to about an 8,500 pound vehicle. But we're not just going to hook up a rope. We're actually going to use a bridle, and we're going to disperse the load to 2 points on the front of the JK. So right here, I have a 10-foot 7/16 winch line extension tagged with a minimum brake strength of 20,000 pounds. Using it in a bridle configuration, we're going to attach 2 points to the Jeep here. So Tyler, can you attach that to your Jeep, please?
Yep.
Now the reason we use 2 points is by using 2 points on the Jeep, we put half the load on each point, and it disperses the load and makes things stronger and less likely to damage something. So if you've got a good bumper that's put on properly with grade 8 bolts, with enough bolts, it's not a problem. But when you get into unibody vehicles, it's a really good idea to always use a bridle. Okay, so we've got a couple different ways we can hook this up. It would be perfectly fine to put the bridle right through the eye of the rope, but we're actually going to use a soft shackle. You'll see my soft shackle also has a label, not over the noose, and that's what we want it to look like. We're also, if you notice, we're building from our stuck vehicle to our recovery vehicle to make sure that we're in the right position. Okay, so on my vehicle, we're going to use a couple of soft shackles to attach it. So again, we've got a rated soft shackle. This one is minimum 45,000 pounds, very strong. It's got a little chafe guard on it. We're going to hook this up to our bridle, and we're going to go from one of these shackles here and notice how the attitude of the soft shackle is the knot comes through and then the noose comes over. Okay, on this end we're going to show you a different connection point. We're actually going to put the kinetic rope through the bridle. Okay, so on this side we're also going to use a soft shackle. Open up the noose, put the noose over the knot, tighten it up. Make sure if you've got chafe guard, and this isn't required, it's in the right position. So the knot is coming up and the noose comes over the knot. So now we have a setup where we've got a bridle.
Good.
And you can see we're setting up the rope here so that there's a nice S in it, and that's about the amount of slack that you want in your rope. So to do this, crawl, walk, run. So put pressure on the kinetic rope when you go to start. If that doesn't work, back up and a little bit faster. If that doesn't work, back up a little bit faster. So pull without any speed, 2 to 3 kilometers an hour, or sorry, 3 to 4 kilometers an hour, 5 to 7 kilometers an hour maximum. That's all you need out of these ropes. If you can't do it like that, then you need to winch. Okay, Tyler, these are the signals that we're going to use. We're not using radios.
Yeah.
We're using horn signals.
Okay.
Okay? When you're ready, you will honk your horn 3 times.
Okay.
That tells me that you're ready. I will respond because we're going forward. I will respond with 3 honks, and then I will initiate the recovery. when we need to stop, it's one honk. Okay, we're actually going to drive up this slope a couple hundred yards to a flat spot.
Okay.
So we're going to drive a little bit. Don't overdrive the rope once you get going.
Yeah.
Let the rope stay taut between us.
Okay.
If we were doing this in recovering the vehicle in reverse, instead of the 3 honks, we would do 2 honks to initiate the recovery. And that gives everybody around us an opportunity to hear that we're doing something and be aware. If they hear 2 honks, they know we're moving backwards. If they hear 3 honks, they know that we're moving forwards. Okay, do you have any questions before we go?
No. Let's do it.
Okay, low range. Let's go into second gear for you.
Okay.
And as soon as you're ready, we'll initiate with 3 honks. I'll respond with 3 honks, and then we'll initiate the recovery.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, you
Sounds
got
good?
it. Let's do it.
Thanks. Hey everybody, Richard from Freedom Recovery here, initiating recovery. So this is our second attempt. We weren't going quite fast enough for the first attempt, so we need a little bit more energy. We don't want to exceed about 7 kilometers an hour doing this because the amount of energy that's generated. And if this doesn't work, then we'll go to a winch. So we've completed our vehicle-to-vehicle recovery with Tyler. Tyler, how did that feel to you? Was it violent? Was it harsh? Was it...
No, it was smooth like butter, very fluid. There's no crazy jerkiness. It was just a really smooth recovery.
That's because the kinetic recovery rope stretches about 25 to 30%, so it transfers energy very evenly. Also, we use the bridle. So when I was pulling you, were you getting pulled to the left or the right at all
No,
using the
dead
bridle?
center. Absolutely dead center. And it was, yeah, like my tire tracks were just right in line with where he was going, so.
And so that doesn't pull me around, and it gives me a chance to steer, so the rope can move side to side, but always continually pulls evenly on the vehicle. So that's a basic vehicle-to-vehicle recovery. I highly recommend a kinetic energy recovery rope or a tugger rope. They work much better than a strap. A strap only stretches about 8 to 10% and is quite a bit more jerky. So see you out there on the trail. Be safe.
After admitting defeat, we decided to turn around and trace our steps back down the hill. We knew of a campsite that we'd seen on the way up, and that's where we were going to spend the night, right alongside Arrow Lake. The campground we'd seen on the way up was called Tate Creek Recreation Site. As I said earlier, it's right on Arrow Lake. It's a great little campground, nice and clean, lots of firewood. After a good breakfast, we cleaned up, tidied up, put out the fire, and then we set off for home. It's always sad when you have to go home, but there's always the next adventure. Remember, the journey doesn't end at the summit.
Brought to you by Lordco for all your motoring needs. Snowmaster USA, keeping things cool on those hot days. Freedom Recovery Gear for getting you out of those tight spots. Overland Kitchens for making meal times a breeze. Nitto, the rubber on the road. KMC Wheels, keeping you on the straight and narrow. Green Lane Off-Road for those lightweight protection. Odyssey batteries powering your adventures. Lifesaver, filtering all that water. Genesis Off-Road, making sure you're always topped up with power.
Thank you for watching. Please head over to buymeacoffee.com and buy us a coffee. We'll see you next time.